All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. This is the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Spencer Israel, JC Parets, Steve Strazza with you this morning. Let's just see if we can cover some earnings reports today because there are a lot of them. I would imagine that Steve would want to discuss Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly trading down on Novo's earnings. Weight loss drugs, turns out there is not unlimited demand for them. Who knew? But I don't know. We'll see where the day takes us. We were supposed to have Ari Wald on the show. He will come on the show on Thursday. We'll have Phil Pearlman on today at 9. And yeah, well, that's pretty much it. JC's talking about CryptoPunks on multi-year highs. I still don't know how to buy a CryptoPunk, but that's just me. I haven't even tried. Maybe I should. No, but let's just see. I mean, like, we are in it. We are in the heart of the earnings season. So I would like it if we could talk some earnings here today, but we'll see. We'll see what the guys want to talk about. I don't know. If you're watching this on YouTube, do me a quick favor and hit the like. We had a lot of likes yesterday. I did appreciate that. I noticed. I don't think I didn't notice. I noticed. Last thing also, before I bring on JC and Steve, is in the link in the description is at the very top is a link to a special live event that we are doing tomorrow. JC is going live with Herb Greenberg. Herb will actually be on the show tomorrow. But Jason's going live with Herb to talk about the anatomy of the scam that Herb was uncovering about a month ago. He's going to break it all down, talk about how he found it, what red flags to look out for. The link to that is in the description. Check it out. It's tomorrow afternoon. That's what I got. Are we ready? I say we're ready. Let's go.
Oh, we are back on the morning show. I like that we do this. I missed you guys last week. You know
that? Yeah, we missed you too. Steve, Steve, did you miss JC last week?
Did I don't think you missed me that much.
Did you?
I did actually.
Okay.
Did you?
I wasn't expecting it, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I appreciate all the enthusiasm with that as well. You know.
No
can I just show you guys something? Let's see.
Yeah.
Here. So I got a coloring book in the mail.
Huh?
Why? Yeah, I got a coloring book in the mail, and she's like, "What did you buy?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't buy that. That was my friend who sent that." And she's like, "Your friends are so weird." Here, throw up slide 2 there. You can see this is the one that my wife thinks my friends are weird. For providing this for my children. I thought it was lovely. I don't think my friends are weird. I mean, maybe my friends are weird, but that doesn't mean that this isn't a great coloring book. You know?
That's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Out of curiosity,
that's pretty advanced.
which one of my friends do you think sent this to me? If you had to guess.
Bart.
I have a guess.
Yeah, Bartolone, obviously. Look at this thing. You got the Egyptian pyramids. Throw up the new slide 3 there. Look at
That's
this.
Super cool.
This is what comes in the mail. Not for nothing. My wife's like she's like, this is so weird. And she was like putting it in the closet. I was like, whoa. Don't just throw it in the closet. This is like a gift from like my friend to our children. And you're just dismissing it as like this like weird object. It's just a coloring book with like great shapes in it. Pyramids
That's awesome.
And whatnot.
That's a great gift.
See, there's seashells. You know how the seashells have the Fibonacci thing? You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
This is so weird. Your friends are like the weirdest people.
Well, is she wrong?
I mean, I wouldn't say the weirdest people. I would say my friends like are weird, like in their own like unique, lovable ways. Like Bart is a good example. Like, is he weird? Yeah, he's probably a little weird, but because I'm not and you're not, Spencer, and we're all weird in our own ways. Right?
You can get like Fibonacci art or golden ratio art for your home. It's actually pretty popular. Pictures.
Brian Shannon's got a bunch of that at his house.
Yeah. You see him around. You see him around.
You see him around. You see the Fibonacci art. You know, I have friends like that wear the 1.618 T-shirt that we have. Like there's an All-Star Charts one somewhere. There's a Chateau Fibonacci wine one somewhere. But there's the 1.618 T-shirts like in the wild. And I'm constantly getting text messages from our friends who own those T-shirts and wear them and get compliments from math nerds out in the wild. Just regular civilians saying what's up.
I know a guy who's got the spiral tatted on his arm.
Do you?
Yeah.
Now that's a little aggressive. Yeah, the tattoo. A T-shirt's one thing. You know, coloring book is one thing. A tattoo? It's a lot. It's a lot. Shall we, Spencer, on that note?
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Dow not doing much this morning, up 55 points. That's 45,000 and change for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. 45,000, ain't that something? I remember it was just a fraction of that, just not too long ago. S&P 500 futures up 14 handles, 64.36. Nasdaq 100 up almost a half a percent this morning. That's 100 points to the upside for the Nasdaq 100, pushing 23,600. We got 30-year bond futures up again, pushing 114 on the 30-year futures. Crude oil up 0.2%, above 67. Copper up 0.25%, 563. Gold up 0.25%, 33.75. Silver also up about 0.25%, 38.30, with the VIX down under 15. Down under 15 for the VIX. We're going to get into that compressed volatility that we're seeing there in a minute. Over in funny money land, you got Bitcoin up another 1,000 points this morning. That's a G note to the upside for the BTC, 119,000 even. Over in Ethereum land, you got Ethereum 38.56, up 1.5% on the day. Over in Solana land, 184, flat this morning with a total crypto market cap. Mr. Spencer Israel, 3.86 trillion. How do we feel about this morning's futures, gentlemen?
I was all ready to bring up on the screen 3.91 is what I saw.
Fake news.
Okay. 3.86, 3.91. Tomato.
Yeah, highest weekly close ever Sunday night for total crypto market cap. Again, by the way, this also happened on the last two Sundays. So 3 Sundays in a row, we close up the week highest total crypto market cap ever. So when Spencer's talking about tomato, to me, those are the big numbers. Not where it is this very second, but the fact that 3 consecutive weeks we've closed at an all-time high, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. I love that it's on Sundays. Well, no, okay, because Sunday is when the bars close, right? The candles. That's like the actual close.
Sunday at 8:00 Eastern time.
Okay, because I was gonna say I like that it's Sunday because it goes back to that whole idea of like markets are closed, but crypto never closes, so you can just trade it all weekend. But no, I guess the candles have to close at some point. So
the candles have to close at some point, whether filled or hollow, right, Spencer?
Yeah, that's right.
Can we talk about the volatility here? Slide 5. This is a big one. We got the VIX under 15. And we have some of the most compressed volatility ever. This one's coming from Sentiment Trader. What do we think? Do we just assume that the VIX is going to spike? We got some interesting data points that would suggest that it's coming.
Can you elaborate on what those data points are?
Every time volatility is this compressed, is Steve here? Where's Steve?
He's here.
Throw him up. Every time volatility
he's eating a cannoli. Give him a break.
Is he eating cannolis for breakfast again?
I don't know.
Dude, you can't be doing that, Steve. Dude, he's gonna have he wants to be a grandfather without having kids first. You have to have kids and then their kids make you a grandfather. You can't just be doesn't really work that way. No?
Okay. Yeah, that's big if true.
So traditionally, when we see this, that tends to happen right before a volatility expansion, right? So right now, sentiments traders saying that watching the VIX lets us know where traders have their beliefs. Since the end of the global financial crisis, the VIX Bollinger Bands have been compressed this tightly only 5 other times, and within the next 4 months, the VIX jumped by more than 50% every single time. That would put the VIX in the mid-20s. So the question is, are you betting that this time is different? Is this something to think about, or is this something to ignore, Mr. Strazza?
No, I think it's good. It's toy out there.
So does that mean that volatility is going to expand? I would argue it means volatility is going to expand. Ultimately, it's the timing that's hard there, right? Would you agree there?
I think can it expand lower? The VIX? See, the VIX is different in that way. But typically, any other asset, you would say, okay, what's the direction going to be? I guess with the VIX, it has to expand higher, which a vast majority of the times that's going to be the case.
Yep.
I don't know.
I would let this be like, okay, we know that volatility is compressed. We don't need this to tell us that, right? We can tell you that. We also know that from extremes come reversions to the mean that tend to go beyond the mean, not just back to the mean. So the fact that volatility, we've seen the largest and fastest collapse in the history of the volatility index. Are we just going to bet that that's over, or is there probably more volatility compression coming? I would argue there probably is. Are we going to get that 50% jump in the VIX at some point? You know, the market doesn't guarantee much, but you can pretty much bet that at some point that VIX is going to jump up into the mid-20s, and there's no question. That can happen from the VIX at 10. Doesn't have to happen from the VIX at 15.
It's
right?
probably not a bad time to buy some protective puts.
That's another thing. If you are concerned and you have a lot of long exposure and you want to buy some insurance, this is really suggesting that insurance is the cheapest that it's been in quite some time.
Do it at the index level. It's just so hard to take these indexes down with breadth expanding the way that it is.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just trying to play that through laggards at this
Right.
point.
So actually short something rather than
right?
yeah.
I mean, the indexes are just slowly grinding higher every day. You could pick a loser beneath the surface, but to bet on a couple of red candles in a row at the index level at this point, I mean, it's been months since that has happened.
What stands out from the futures this morning, Strazza?
Oh, we're coiled up here, and these flags got to go. I think the best flag in the entire market right now is really just Bitcoin.
I thought you were going to say home builders. Strazza's all geeked up on the homies.
I love the home builders. They're reloading, and I think they're ready to explode. I still love the home builders, the same way I did when I started writing about them a few weeks ago. Sometimes it takes time coming out of these bases, even a little tactical base like this. It's just been a sloppy start, but I think the catch-up trade is really, really in effect there. I wrote about it yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. Fonz, you could drop it in the chat. But the catch-up, somebody was asking me, why so many catch-up trades? So I thought about it, and there's really two reasons. We like to joke that there's a time and a place for everything, and there's a better environment to bet on laggards catching up to leaders. There's good times and bad times to do that. And in the middle to later stages of a bull market, when breadth is expanding and the market is just firing on all cylinders, it's a high probability bet to pick a loser and simply make the bet that it looks more like the leaders in the future. In a bear market, where the leaders are catching down to the losers, right? The good ones start to look more like the bad ones. You don't want to express bullish catch-up trades. But right now, you could just find something that's down on the mat and make the bet. It's going to look like everything else soon. And that keeps working. So we keep doing it. Another reason we're doing the catch-up trade is because we're doing it via call options a lot. And a catch-up trade, to me, by definition, is an outsized move. It's a move that's above the average volatility for that individual ticker, right? Right. The stock is sprinting a bit to catch up with its pack. So
I really, really like it. I'm not gonna lie when you say to throw some ketchup on that dog.
It's funny.
I like that. I like how you do. I like when you say that. It gets me excited.
It's hot dog season. Everybody's grilling. The ketchup bottles are out. And the
I have a son that loves hot dogs. Officially, my 2-year-old loves hot dogs. So he takes it out of it. He just holds it and just eats the dog. like just like an animal. He's like
Meat
Phil
stick.
Pearlman style, no carbs, just like straight dog.
I don't need the bun.
Dude,
Yeah,
he
okay.
crushes the hot dog. And then my other son, he eats everything like it's corn on the cob. So he like turns everything around sideways.
Funny.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? So like he'll eat everything like it's corn on the cob. It doesn't matter what it is. He just like,
That's great.
ice cream, and that's the problem. He eats ice cream like that too, and then it starts dripping because he's eating like a corn on the cob. So we're working on it. We're working on it. But these are the
That's funny.
adventures of twin 2-year-olds. The hot dog
That's
was a big
funny.
one. I came back. I went to the bathroom. I came back or wherever I was, and the hot dog was all eaten. And I was like, what happened to that? And my wife was like, oh, he ate it all. I was like, are you serious? Ate the whole thing?
Hot dogs are a special food. Great American brand. Great American brand.
Shout out Our Better's Hot Dogs on 87th and Bird Road, 87th Avenue, Bird Road, Miami. A chili cheese dog with the onions there. Place has been around since the early 60s. These are some Boston folks that moved down to Miami, opened up a hot dog joint in a big Cuban neighborhood, and the Cubans went wild. The Cubans love the hot dog. Hot dog. Vamos a comprar hot dog. That's what they say, the Cubans. Hot dog.
Would you say it's better than Americanteen, or you didn't eat there much in college?
No, we had the other one. What's the one that we went to? Super
Super
Dupes?
duper weenie?
Super duper. Yeah, Our
Yeah,
Better's was
okay,
way
you're right
better
there.
than all that stuff.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so let's turn this over to angry liberals. One of the reasons, many reasons why we were buying stocks is
Oh,
what was
hold
it,
on,
90%? Hold on,
No,
this is important.
Oh, but this is really important. It's just a phrase. We do mustard, sauerkraut, and onions typically. It's just a phrase. We're not really throwing ketchup on our dogs out here.
Not gonna lie, the JC dog has a little slice of ketchup underneath the chili cheese and onions. That's the
I don't
JC
hate that.
dog. That's a special edition.
Fully
You know.
approve that.
All right, listen. So one of the, there was a lot of bearishness this spring, as we know, some of the most bearish ever. Politics were definitely involved. 90% of liberals thought that the stock market was going to fall over the next 6 months. This was in May. Latest Gallup poll, you're looking at 88% of Democrats think that the worst is ahead of us. 88%.
Oh, this again? Oh, God.
88%.
These miserable bastards.
No.
Oh, how terrible. What a world.
What a world. By the way, the Republicans, Republicans on the exact opposite side, I think they're both crazy between you and me. I think the Republicans are probably too optimistic. The liberals are definitely way too pessimistic. This one comes from the Gallup poll. Right, Strazza? I mean, I think they're both nuts.
Do you think they actually believe that? Or they're hoping that the world crumbles because they're that miserable and stupid?
No, yeah, there's definitely something to that. Like they're just rooting for whatever CNN tells them that they're going to do, right?
It's
and then
sad, though.
the Republicans are listening to Fox, which are telling them how everything is so great. So like it works both ways. But it is fantastic to see these miserable people. That is fantastic. It was part of the reason why, we were buying stocks earlier this spring. It wasn't just because of angry liberals. There were angry participants in general, individual investors, portfolio managers. But the fact that this anger and pessimism has been sustainable, I think is fantastic. So I'm all for that. Here's another one, a nice little myth bust here. This one coming from Deutsche Bank. We're looking at equities and mutual funds across wealth percentile groups, showing that the top 1% owns about 50% of all stocks, which is pretty consistent over time. So, this, what do they say? What's the thing where there's like a difference between poor people and wealthy people? What's that called? Disparity?
Wealth disparity?
Wealth disparity?
Income disparity?
I think it's fake news, right? This looks like the top 1% owns about half the stocks always. No?
It's just math, right?
I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, I hear people get all upset about this sort of thing. I'm not quite sure what it is that people are upset about here. Spencer, let me ask you this: as a man of the people, the one Spencer Israel,
Yes.
the wealthiest 1% owning about half the U.S. stock market, pretty standard stuff. Anything to be offended by here?
This number actually has improved. It's very slow to
Wealth
improve,
gap.
but
That's the one. Shout out Charles. Wealth gap. That's what they say.
yeah, U.S. households who own stocks is at a record high. So there was a time when like literally just like the wealthiest 10% own stocks, and now it's like half of U.S. households own stocks. So yeah, the top 10 or top 1%, top 10%, they still hold most of the wealth, but everybody else is slowly getting more or exposure to capital markets and to the stock market. So it's from that point of view, it's getting better. I don't know if the wealth gap will ever. I don't know how to solve that problem. No one knows how to solve that problem. But one of the ways.
I don't understand how this moves in any different direction over time.
Probably you're probably right.
I don't think it can.
One of the silver linings is that more people own stocks, and that is a good thing. So,
right.
The forced the automatic 401k enrollment is a good thing. This whatever the heck is this Trump whatever they call it, the savings plan is where they give every child whatever, a couple $1,000
I think that's great.
is a freaking great thing, right?
Yeah.
So like whatever we can do to get people to own stocks is a good thing. So I'm for it.
See, we're a victim of our own success with a stat like this. This is what gets talked about a lot, and not the fact that the United States is completely unique in the sense that so many of our citizens even participate in capital markets.
That's right.
So there's two sides to this coin.
Yeah. And then throw up slide 9. Let's just kind of dive deep into who's the angriest and where things are more balanced. So it's not just angry liberals. Women are more concerned than the men as well. But the biggest.
Wait. Angriest about this is the stock market.
Yeah. So zoom in there. The biggest disparity comes from the political affiliations, right? So it's not so much the men and the women, even though the women are more concerned. The age groups themselves, the 50 to 60, 50 to 64, 50 to 64 seem to be the most concerned. But kind of pretty even. People making 100,000 or more versus less than 100,000. Not that different. The biggest extremes come from the politics. So I think that's probably the big takeaway for me. Where is the anger versus the optimism? It's not so much in the men and the women or the ages or how much money people have. It really comes down to the political affiliations. That's the big takeaway for me.
I'm surprised it has nothing to do with the money. That surprises me.
It's pretty even, huh?
It's so muted. I would have.
Yeah, so I would say that's interesting too. Yeah, just how balanced it is between people who make more money or less money. They're about the same.
So a lot of negative Nancy's is the takeaway.
Yeah, it also depends on the question. If you're,
the question is, how concerned are you about the recent volatility, the ups and downs in the stock market? That's the question. And then the question before, the other question was the one that has 88% of liberals think that the worst is ahead of us. In terms of the market volatility this year, do you think the worst is behind us or is the worst ahead of us? U.S. investors' perceptions of peak market volatility.
Okay, the only way I could take this question half seriously is if there's a follow-up question which that's multiple choice, and that is, where is the S&P 500 right now? Is it A, at all-time highs, B, at all-time lows, C, down 20%, B, down 5%? I just need them to answer that question, because I don't think any of these respondents actually know, and therefore I can't take this seriously.
Is this like one of the Bank of America ones?
The Global Fund Manager Survey?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this is more civilians than global fund managers.
Okay. Where do you get these? Where do you find these?
Where do I find these?
Yeah.
This is what I do. We as technicians, we are analyzing the behavior of the market and therefore market participants. So understanding the pain points and where humans are the most vulnerable presents tremendous amount of opportunity. So the fact that liberals have been as angry as they've been over the last several months have provided quite the tailwind for equities, as you have seen. So I am constantly wondering whether the liberals that were as angry as they were this spring are less angry, or maybe a little bit more optimistic, because by the time that they get super
Hold on.
optimistic, we probably
Hold
want to
on.
be selling stocks, right? So that's
You-
one thing to watch.
But do you think
Individual
that
investors and portfolio managers and their position.
right.
The fact that the
Okay.
Russell 2000
Okay.
future speculators are the most net short we've ever seen.
Okay. That's a good one. That one makes sense to me. Probably is providing some fuel right now. But do you really think that this is like adding to the bull market rally, the fact that people are feeling strongly about politics? Like, you really think that?
100%. And just to be fair, throw up slide 4. Just to be fair, if it was the other way around and there was a weekend at Bernie's still at the White House, and it was the angry Republicans and the stock market was making new highs, that would be just as good. For the record, I'm not picking on angry liberals. If they were angry Republicans, that would be good. It might even be better if it was angry Republicans, right? Theoretically, it might even be better if it was angry, but it's not, right? The Republicans are probably way too optimistic, but that's another story. So here's the stats, Strazza. So this is, you got the Russell 2000 futures by speculators, some of the highest net short position ever. And the stat is as following. The stat is, over the past 4 years, S&P 500 up 44.8%, Russell 2000 up 2. Little catch up on that, dog, sir?
Small cap indexes are built so poorly. So I would say yes to your question, but choose your own fighters. Don't do it with IWM.
Choose your own fighters. Don't do it with IWM. You know, Steve Strazza, you say a lot of dumb shit over time, but that, my friend, is not one of them. That is spot on, I think. You know, don't just buy biotechs. I think you could make a basket of biotechs. Maybe not just buy regional banks, but maybe make a basket of regional banks. I don't hate that. I think he's spot on, folks. What do you guys think? You want to weigh in on the chat? Do you think that Steve Strazza is making a great point there on the old IWM? They're always kicking out their best players, right? We know this.
Biotechs look so good. You have to get involved. It's crazy not to.
What I don't understand, what I really don't understand though, is haven't small caps like historically outperformed?
No, it's a myth.
That's a myth.
You're talking about like in bull markets? No, it's bullshit.
No, I just mean like I've seen stats that long-term performance of small caps. No,
in fact, they've been chronic underperformers.
Well, that would make sense to me. That's why I don't understand whenever I see the stat about small caps outperforming. It confuses me because
small caps peaked on a relative basis more than 10 years ago.
Dude, that entire bear market after the dot-com bubble peak, small caps outperformed the whole time during that bear market.
And they've underperformed
during this massive bull market that we've had, one of the greatest economic expansions in American history, global markets ripping. Small caps have underperformed the whole time.
Right.
You know, look at the back half of the 1990s. Back half of the 1990s, the market ripped. Small caps underperformed the whole time.
And people will tell you like it has stuff to do with like the intermarket landscape, like, oh, it's the dollar or the interest rate. It's not that either. There's really nothing there either.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're better and sometimes they're worse.
Sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse. Yeah, that's not wrong. Steve Strazza on fire today. I got another chart. This one coming from one Grant Hawkridge with the daily number. Throw this one up. This one I think is the one that Strazza is going to like the most. This
really nice.
You know, also, you know, when you say where do you find these charts, this is what I do, Strazza. This one obviously more near and dear to your heart, but it's very similar. How is money being allocated? It's coming out of the defensives and into the offensives, right? That's part of tariffs and sentiment, as far as I'm concerned. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I love this. This speaks to the offensive posture of the market right now, and we want to keep pressing the gas because the evidence that continues to pour in says more offense, more of the risk on stuff. And I'll answer a question from the chat because it relates to this conversation. Wouldn't XLV have to turn before biotechs? Ricksta says, no, I don't think so. Healthcare is a pretty diverse group. The subgroups are all kind of built differently when it comes to the types of stocks in them. And biotechs working, I think, makes sense when you think about the interest rate sensitive groups working, the long duration equities really working. Biotech falls into both of those. So I think you're getting some early leadership from the bios because they're more like other things than their healthcare peers.
First of all, I just want to give a shout out to the chat. They got Steve's back. I was just messing around, guys. I don't either. Strazza does not say a lot of dumb shit. He's a smart dude. Dude, they got your back this morning. I was just messing around.
Oh, guys.
Look at that. Look at that. They got his back. We're just breaking balls, guys. It's all in good fun. No, you know.
We're just having fun out here.
We're having a good time. But I appreciate them having your back like that. I see you. I see you guys. I see you, chat.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. We got a good thing going.
Yeah, we got a good thing going. We got a good crew. This is an amazing community that we have here. You guys join every day. You guys are awesome. Speaking of amazing community, we have Phil Pearlman in the house. You know, as Phil Pearlman, Dr. Phil, Mr. Brozarks, all kinds of silly nicknames over the years. Phil's life goal is to never wear shoes ever again. A simple man. But he doesn't say keep it simple, stupid. He says keep it stupid, simple. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a nice play on that.
It's a nice play on that. I always appreciated that from Dr. Phil. We're talking a lot about sentiment. We're talking a lot about emotional decision making. What better time than the present to bring on Dr. Phil Pearlman?
Yeah.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Oh, there he is.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, Pearl Dog?
What's up?
Hey, so I got something for you today. First of all, shout out Brian Harris with the Orioles avatar. The scenes is not over until it's over. And they're not out of it till they're out of it. I mean, they're almost out of it, but they won 3 straight. They just beat the Blue Jays, and they're like 8 out of a wild card with 40 some left to play. So it's not over. Brian Harris, shout out. Okay. It is a great community. I've been watching the stream here. It's fantastic, and I got something for you guys today. What's up?
What do you got, Pearl Dog?
So here's the thing. So what's the biggest problem that people are having right now in the market? And Strazza sort of alluded to it, and he said, keep your feet on the gas, keep your foot on the gas, right? And so just to give you an idea of my perspective coming in for people who don't know me, there is price behavior. We're getting all the price behavior analysis that we could ever desire with JC and Strazza and team. It's fantastic. But then you also have human behavior. And if you can't control your own behavior, all the great price analysis in the world isn't going to help you, right? And so right now in this market, usually when we think of the problem that people have, it's that they don't take a loser. They're sitting on stocks. They get nursed, bubble pops, and they nurse a stock 80% down. That's like the headline. That's like the marquee problem that investors and traders have. But the flip side of that, and the problem that traders are having right now, and this is huge, is that they're not letting winners run long enough. They're getting out too quickly. They're taking profits too fast. And now is not the time that you want to have your discipline. You want to know where your level is, but you don't want to just take that winner too quickly, take it off the table, because what happens is these are the seasons. This is when we make hay. This is the time that we make money. And if you're not in and you're not making money, you're missing out. This is prime time. And so right now is a moment where the biggest problem is not pressing winners and not staying in your winning positions.
Love this message from
Phil.
Dr.
Can I tell you something?
It's so important.
Can I tell you something? You're spot on. And, when it comes to traders, and Strazza could tell you this, we've talked about this before, or investors of any kind, when we lose money, it's not that big of a deal, because at this point, I'm a grown adult. I just assume I'm going to lose money on the trade, and I'm good with that. By the call option goes to 0, I'm good with that. I already, in my head, visualize that that's a loss, and maybe it's not, and we make a lot of money, and that would be even better, right? For me, and I know Strazza feels this way too, when it's not about taking a loss, that's not the bad part about trading. It's that if you're right and you nail the trade and you nail the timing and you don't make enough money from it, that's the problem. That's what pisses me off, right? It's not the losses. It's the not making enough when we nail it. That's what pisses me off. How do you think about that train of thought?
Well, here's the thing. So pisses me off. Being angry, there's an emotional component to it that is critical. And the emotional component here is, oh, it feels so good to take a profit. It's like an ego kick. It's a ka-ching. It's a gain realization. Feels so good to, you got to, it's like there's a Kama Sutra of training, right? Trading. You got to hold off. You got to hold off. Hold off. Don't do it. Remember that old song? What was that song? Relax. Don't do it. You got to relax. Don't do it. And you got to control that emotion. It's not an easy thing to do. It's almost as difficult as learning to take losses. And so right now is that moment. And so you ask me, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do right now? Okay, so here's what you do. Two things you can do. Number one, position sizing is very important and that's the same thing. It really is the flip side. It really is the tails. Brian Harris, again, with the Orioles comment, he was at the game yesterday. Yes, they are coming together. It might be too late in the season, but they are coming together right now. But the thing is, you need to have a plan going in, right? You need to have a plan going in before you take the trade, is before you get emotional, before you get angry, before you get scared, before you get proud. Hey, look at this win I have. I took the gain. I had a winning trade. I'm such a fancy boy. I'm such a great guy, right? That's all emotion. It's totally meaningless to your P&L how you feel. So before you get in a trade, yes, you need to have your risk. That is, everybody focuses on that because losses are such a big deal. I understand that. I'm not downplaying the severity and badness of letting losses run. I'm not diminishing that. But what I'm saying is, before you get into a trade, you have your stop. Great. You honor that stop. That's behavioral. That's the component I'm talking about. But you get into a trade, you also have to have your upside exit plan, right? You also have, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll take a partial gain at this spot, at a fib level or whatever, right? Or target, but then letting the rest run, or however you do it, or even, there's, some of the greatest traders of all time would be piling in even more as they're gaining. So it really goes against human nature. So the first thing is position sizing. And the second thing is to have your exit plan on the upside as well. And hey, I can let this be a 2-bagger. Hey, I can let this be a 3-bagger. Sitting, as Livermore would say, sitting on your hand.
Sean, I want to give a shout out to Sean, who has basically created the solution for what Pearlman is talking about, particularly on the having a plan. There is nobody I know, and you guys know I talk to a lot of people. I've met a lot of traders over many years. Not a single one of those folks is better at writing out a trading plan than our man Sean McLaughlin.
Big plan.
I mean, that is facts only. You want to learn how to make a trading plan? He's the guy you want to learn from, and then you can apply his principles to your strategy, but it's all the same thing. And, like Phil said, why is that so important? Because, and Sean says this all the time, because when markets are moving and the alert goes off, it's like, well, what the fuck was I supposed to do? Check the plan and be like, oh, I'm supposed to take half off the table. Nice. Okay. Or, oh, I'm supposed to get stopped out. Okay. See you later. Right. Or, oh, I'm supposed to roll the option to something else. Whatever the plan is, if you have it written down, you can just turn to it. Like you don't have to remember all these things. You can just turn to the plan. Love that.
99% of the time I enter a trade, I know exactly how much I'll lose. My reward is not defined, but my risk almost always is and will not change.
Yep.
I have a quick story. While Phil's here, this would be a nice story. I don't think I've never talked about this. So I was with a client and some friends golfing Saturday, just giving, a sea of compliments. It was so nice. And then finally, asked a good question. How did you get good at this? And I feel like that gets lost a lot. So I explained to them, about 12 years ago, I really got involved in the market. I had all of my money in the market, a lot of my grandpa's savings in the market, some random dude's money in the market. and I lost everything. It was an absolute public embarrassment. It sucked to go to Sunday dinners with my family. I was afraid to answer the phone for my grandpas. Felt like I'd completely blown their life's work. I disappeared for 2 years and just learned shit because I was so pissed off. A fire had been lit inside of me, and I was like, I got to figure this shit out now. And it became my life's mission to get better at what I was clearly very bad at. And I just hit the books and I disappeared. I moved to the islands and I studied and I read everything. And then I got in the market and I tried different things and I experimented with different things and I blew up everything that I was doing and everything that I thought I knew. And I completely switched from a fundamental focused model to technical analysis. And I just blew it all up and started over. But it was that failure and just falling on my face so hard, losing everything, feeling like my life was over and I had ruined other people's, in the process, is how I got here today. That's really where it started. These parts of the story rarely get told, but they're so important. Like the guys I was golfing with were like, how did you figure this out? Like this option stuff, it's so weird. Like, this didn't happen overnight. This has been a long journey and it hasn't been easy, frankly. It's been pretty wild. It's been a fun ride. We've learned a lot along the way. But that's kind of how it was all born.
Glad you used the term learn there. We learned a lot because it's a learning experience and it does take that. And the other thing that you didn't mention, but that you're really talking about that I love, because me and you have talked about this before, Straz, is rebirth. Yeah. Right? You go through the fire and some people reborn, some people can rebirth themselves and come back better than ever before. And some people fade and slink away and move on and maybe do something else and maybe just sort of add that fire, add that failure to this pile of failures. It's really how you respond to failure that makes all of the difference in the world. So experience, learning, and your response to failure, Straz, that was great. I just want to give a shout out really quickly to Topher. Just let AI handle it. Yeah, I have some clients. I have a hedge fund client I'm thinking of right now who's one of the greatest pure traders I have ever been around in my life. And his problem was not winning. His problem was losing. And he began to automate more and more. And occasionally now he still has some problems. When he overrides his systems, he'll do that from time to time. But his problems have gone from, once a week to once every few months. And it's unbelievable to see his profitability. And so automation, we live in this age, you have to program the computer, but that is part of having a plan before, like exactly what we were talking about, having a plan before. The other person I wanted to give, it was Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I forgot. Oh, there it is. Christopher Brown. Shout out Frankie Goes to Hollywood. That's exactly right. I couldn't think of that.
Pearlman, I'm glad that you brought up the AI because this was actually one of the things I was going to ask you today is about the AI. I'm talking to Louis yesterday, and Louis talking to me about how, he thinks that, a lot of people are using AI too much. And I thought that was an interesting take. I read a white paper the other day. It wasn't a white paper. It was more just like a note, I should say, and talking about using AI and not, avoiding using AI as a crutch, rather than turning to AI, like use it to your advantage. Like, don't let AI control you, but you controlling the AI, if you will. As me, I find myself using AI more and more every day, different ways. There are new tools that just exist today that didn't exist like a month ago. It feels like I'm using it more and more, like not like going out of my way, like playing with the toys. Like I did that a few years ago. I was just playing with it just to have fun. Now I'm actually using it. Can you speak to like Louis' point, people are using it too much, or in that note that I was reading that, you don't want to use it as a crutch? Like, can you speak to the humans and the machines and using the machines,
That's the hardest part about this, isn't it? For everyone, it's going to be striking the right balance. Like what's too much AI, what's not enough.
Yeah, how do you think about it, Pearl?
This started with the phone, right? This started with the iPhone, really.
Right.
It probably started before that with the BlackBerry. But technology addiction is real.
Mhm.
And here's how I break that down. All of this stuff is tools. It's all it is. All of this stuff, from the phone to the chat GBT, and all of it is just tools.
Yeah.
And we either own the tools or we are owned by the tools. And that is the great distinction right there. These tools are unbelievably powerful, right? And we either own them and make use of them and then put them away in a drawer, or they own us. And that really comes down to what's in here. That comes down to the self. That comes down to ego strength. That comes down to having some discipline. It comes down to thinking. It comes down to knowing who you are and what you want. Because there is, really, we're kind of talking about addiction here, right? People get addicted to these tools, and the tools are getting more and more powerful, right? The phone thing was amazing. And what is that? iPhone's only been around for like less than 20 years. Think about that, how much it's changed the whole world in less than 20 years. And there are people out there who are able to use their phones as a tool and reap incredible efficiency. And then on the other side, there are people who are completely owned. And it's just, you could call it whatever you want in the brain, and it's like chemicals or whatever. But really, it's just it's addiction, and it's getting owned by the tool. And so now we're starting to see exactly the same thing. And this is what Louis is talking about. And yes, it is incredibly dangerous. But at the same time, for those who can harness it, William Blake once said, you never.
Who's William Blake? Did he play for the Orioles?
William Blake was a great poet of the
Philosopher too, right?
Philosopher, artist, and poet of the 17th, late 17th, early 18th century in Europe. And he once said, and he was like tipping his hat to Icarus, who put on the wings, flew too close to the sun, and then the wax melted on the wings and he fell to the earth. He was saying, Blake said, you can never fly too high if you fly by your own wings, right? You can never go too high. And so if you can harness these tools, if you can harness the sun, if you can harness ChatGPT, if you can harness the phone for your use as tools, you fucking win. You fucking win. I would recommend people on the weekends, especially while it's nice out in the Northeast. Weekend comes, dude. Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, Friday afternoon. Put your phone in a drawer, get outside, and just practice getting away from it. Just practice this discipline. That could affect your ability to use AI in trading too. It's all interconnected in that way.
I think that's great advice. But isn't there a flip side to that too, though, Phil? Like I'm finding myself telling people these days, don't fall behind either. Like play with the new tools. These are the new languages of our life, whether it's Chat GPT or something. Like get used to them now, or they're going to launch the next version of it and you never learn the first one, and then you're never going to pick it up. Like these things move away from us as time progresses too. And I don't think you want to miss it.
I totally agree with that. I'm not saying don't use these tools at all. I got the ChatGPT. I got the, I got the version, the paid version for my kids and everything. I'm using that stuff. I'm saying these are tools. Harness them and don't become the slave to them. That's the critical thing. They're just tools. They're just tools. You can harness them. You will win, especially in this stage. Everything's changing so quickly. You can harness these tools. There are going to be plenty of people who, to Louis' point, are going to get addicted to this stuff. The dopamine is going to fire. Thank you, Harminder.
I like that.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about that. I think I have a mild addiction to television, but that's besides the point. I like this comment from Harminder.
We're in a meeting. We're like in a meeting. I could hear like the crazy lady on the TV, like rah 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 rah, the Fed, rah rah rah, yield curves, rah rah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem.
She's probably
Rose-
gorgeous, and I'm sure she loves her kids. But like, is that necessary?
You're probably friends with her. Rose follows me around the
Maybe.
house and turns off the TVs all day. Like we play a game. I go and turn them all on, and then she follows me and turns them all off.
Oh, nice. That's like
Listen,
my wife and the air conditioner. She keeps turning it up. I keep turning it. Yeah.
I do this, and Phil's the right guy to ask if this is okay or not. This is definitely something that I do. Dopamine should only come from food and sex. Is it okay to get your dopamine hits from the things you ingest?
You say dopamine should only come from food and sex?
Which look,
And
those are
exercise.
there's probably something there.
Hey,
Exercise.
exercise too.
I want to talk about the food though.
Not
Is
just
it
food and
okay?
sex.
Is it okay, Phil, to get dopamine hits from food? Like, should I be this
Yes.
excited to eat things, or is
Yes.
that bad?
That's okay.
Okay,
It's
really?
great. It's
Okay.
great. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
right.
However, so
It's
here's the
perfectly
thing.
natural.
It's
Okay,
the same
good.
exact thing with the ChatGPT. It's not good or bad. There's a line. There's a thin razor line, right?
Yeah.
Between any of this stuff, between food, between sex, between ChatGPT, between your iPhone. And that is it a tool that you control? There's the line. Or is it an addiction that controls you?
Right.
And if you are on
Right.
this side of it, you have a problem.
If you're
And if you
gorging
are
your
on
body,
that
yeah,
side of it,
Yeah.
you are the boss and you are controlling.
And that could be the case in exercise too. You know, these people are crazy. They're like all they do is like look in the mirror. I mean, there's an element of extreme there too.
You are exactly right. As a matter of fact, before I heard your discussion, before I came on today, I was going to talk about a huge problem that I find overachievers having. This is something I'm writing about right now. Overachievers. I work with some overachievers, a lot of like hyper overachievers, right? People who've been insanely successful and they get to be 55, 60, 65 years old and they are still as hectic and harried and busy and always on as they ever were. They can't turn off. They can't be like, hey, I got millions and millions of dollars in the bank and now maybe I'm still going to do some cool stuff, but I'm just going to like not make myself insane anymore. They can't turn it off. They overtrain. To your point, JC, they overtrain and they get injured. See a lot of, 62-year-olds come to me and they got a knee injury, they got the elbow tendonitis, they got this and they got that. And I'm like, okay, tell me about what you're doing. And they're training every day and they're doing, deadlifts and they're fucking 62. It's like, dude, okay, just have a day of rest. So it's like there's a line between something being a tool, something being good for us, to Strazza's point, something being good for us, and it being an addiction over here on the other side of the line. And that's the line that matters. There's nothing in and of itself that is just simply good or bad.
My grandma, who actually coined the phrase "make hay while the sun is shining," another one of her Hall of Fame phrases is nothing in excess is ever good. Like she would always tell me everything in moderation. I think
You hear
this is
that,
good.
Phil Pearlman? Steaks in moderation. You can eat turkey on Thanksgiving. You don't need to eat a steak like an animal. Like you could just be a good American and eat freaking turkey on Thanksgiving like a normal person.
Mark
What it
Watson-
comes down to for me is that making a steak and making a turkey, making a steak is so much easier. Like I would do the turkey. I've done the turkey. I've brined the turkey.
Yeah,
I've made the mess in the kitchen. I've spent 20 hours, like the night before. It's just a steak. You just, you season it and you throw it on the grill and then you got some butter and maybe some rosemary and you're good to go.
Beef, forever undefeated.
Forever undefeated.
Phil, the chat loves
Let me ask you something to the Northeasterners. So like Cubans don't have winter, so we eat braised oxtail, just in summer, in the fall, it doesn't matter because what's the difference, right? For Northeasterners, I have this argument, this discussion with my mother-in-law, how like in the Northeast, you don't eat these heavy things in the summer, you eat other kinds of things. And I'm just like, if we want oxtails, let's just make oxtails, right? How do you guys feel about that? Who gives a shit? Just do it.
Yes. Just do it, man. Life is
Doesn't
short.
have to be a
Enjoy
winter
yourself.
thing.
Doesn't have to be a winter thing. Nope.
Yeah.
We had
I'm gonna tell her
we
you
had
said
soup.
that.
We had soup the other night. My kid had his wisdom teeth, and we had soup the other night, and it was hot. We turned on the air conditioner, and it was fantastic. Hey, Christos, Phil should have a weekly segment. Well, let me tell you something, pal. I'll be here every week. And I'm getting more and more involved with stock market media. I'm getting more involved with all-star charts. You're going to see something. This is a tease right here. In the days coming up, you're going to see some more information about my involvement with this incredible organization and with these incredible people. And I'm just so pumped to be here. What's that?
This is just a tip.
Thank you, JC.
No problem. Pearlman, we have you here, and we have 2 more minutes. I just wanted to touch on, kind of the political mindset that we're seeing. We mentioned this before. I really want to hear your thoughts. Spencer, this is your cue to disappear. They hate when I bring this up, but, listen, at the end of the day, I am aware of my own human flaws. I am aware that other humans have those flaws. I think there's a huge advantage to understanding that we have those flaws and recognizing that other people have them and taking advantage of them for our own selfish gains, right? Like that's what we're here to do. Take advantage of the mispositioning in the market when the narrative is one thing, but the reality is something else. This spring, you had 90% of liberals thinking the market was going to fall over the next 6 months. That's great. That was one of a lot of pieces of evidence that suggested we should be buying as many stocks as possible. Now we're seeing similar data continuing to persist. 88% of liberals think that the worst is ahead of us. But at the same time, the Republicans, most of them think that everything's great. Like, I think they're both wrong, right? But like, can you just mention, what, number one, recognizing not to let your political beliefs influence your decision-making, but also taking it one step further, like what we do, take advantage of that?
It's really a very similar thing that we were talking about before. If we have our beliefs, we have the things that we're thinking, and where is that line between owning that and controlling that and being owned by it? From it going from being a thought that you're having to being an addiction. And just more generally, all extremes are insanity, usually, right? You got the extreme left, they're freaking crazy. The extreme right, they're freaking crazy. It's like, commies to the left of me, fascists to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you guys where it's really good.
And they're the loudest too. So it seems like it's everybody when it's not, right?
They're all crazy. If you're extreme left, right? And you're worrying about, who's using what bathroom. And if you're extreme right and you're worrying about who's using what bathroom, guess what? You're both insane. I have bad news for you. If you're worrying about who's using bathrooms, you're fucking nuts. Doesn't matter which side you're on. Doesn't matter, you're pro-trans, anti-trans, all of that is just so insanity. You're just, you're insane the further out you go. And it's the same thing with these.
And then here's my definition of extremist. My definition of extremist is if you are too mentally weak that you can't prevent your political beliefs to influence your decision-making in the market. Like if you're letting that impact your money, that by definition makes you extreme. You could think whatever you want, but if you're not letting it impact your decision-making, then doesn't seem that extreme to me. But if you're too weak to prevent that, then you are, right?
For you youngins out there, or you new viewers who think that JC's just a righty talking his book, let me tell you something. I've seen him on the other side of that trade, and it's really just stupidity arbitrage, right?
Yeah,
it's just
stupidity
taking advantage.
arbitrage. I like that.
It's stupidity arbitrage. You can have that for free.
I'm using that.
And it's really just stupidity arbitrage. Like people who are insane, you're just taking the other side of that trade.
Stupidity arbitrage. Like I'm using that tomorrow.
I was working through this one idea called meme arbitrage. Haven't fully figured that out yet, but there's something there. And there's definitely something there on stupidity arbitrage.
Dude, I'm leaning in on that one.
This was a great conversation. Shout out to Phil's pecs.
Yeah, buddy. Come on.
Phil, you couldn't find a tighter shirt?
Dude, this is not. I'm just getting a little. I'm getting a little. I'm getting
a
a little.
swole.
I'm getting a little bigger. I'm getting a little bigger. I just do a lot of push-ups, and
like his kids. His kids are older now, so they've grown out of these outfits. So he's going into like the attic and finding their old clothes when they were younger and trying to put them on.
Dude, my kids are so much bigger and stronger than me. It's hilarious. Like they look at me like this, and then they like smile, like Hey, Dad, down there. It's hilarious.
Lucas says, I'm ready to run through a wall today, boys. Great pep talk. Mindset and planning is huge.
That's
Funny,
what this
so
is all
Phil's ready to
about.
run through a wall too. So
Go
Phil-
kick ass, you guys. Everybody watching today, go kick fucking ass.
Phil will be on the show every Tuesday. So we'll see you next Tuesday.
Taco
Adios,
Tuesdays with
guys.
Phil Pearlman.
Love you all.
All right.
Thanks, Phil.
Phil approves tacos. Tacos are Phil approved.
There's a lot of just intelligent comments in the chat, and I agree. People don't talk about this enough. Sex is very important for the dopamine and for it's the only cardio I really get these days. And it if you miss out on that and that's your only cardio, you're really losing.
Yeah.
In
No,
life. So
he's not wrong. He's not wrong there.
Yeah.
I think it also makes you live longer.
hell yeah, dude.
I think it makes you
Definitely.
live longer. I've read the stats. And if you're not having any sex, it can't be healthy. Like it can't be healthy.
Those are the angry people who responded 88% that the market's going down.
No, because there's Republicans out there that aren't getting any action either. I mean, let's be serious.
Oh god.
We know that for sure. So that's not a political thing. That goes both. That's right in the middle. That's what do they call it? Bipartisan. Bipartisan.
You got to do the things that make you feel good in life.
Yeah.
Eat
Yeah.
the steak, have the sex,
Yeah.
whatever.
In that order, or no?
Yeah.
Steak comes after.
No, in that order's good for me.
Funny. Spencer's ready to move on from this conversation.
Spencer, how you feeling? How you doing today?
How you feeling? How you
Good.
feeling?
I
buddy?
got up early and I went for a walk, which I haven't done in months.
Neither
So
did.
I feel great. You
look great, buddy.
thank you.
New dad. Look at that.
Dad, not getting any action these days. I know what that's like. I remember the doctor
party
like,
at the
calling
gym.
me over. He'd be like, "Look at that.
Hey.
You see that? You stay away from that for 6 weeks."
They call it the newborn trenches, right? For a reason.
Man,
great.
So
That's great.
all right. Although actually, I had a recess. It was actually going to be about steak, but Phil's gone. That's all right. You guys want to do recess or you want to
shall
get?
we? Let's do it
All
quick.
right.
Let's go.
Video.
Tell me about your meat.
No, my recess is just like I was grilling steak last night, and I had a realization that it's sort of embarrassing to admit, but I'm feeling quite self-conscious and insecure about it. I don't have a lot of experience at working a grill or cooking steak because I lived in an apartment for many years, and I wasn't buying steaks a whole lot. I'd buy a lot of chicken, buy a lot of ground turkey, buy a lot of ground beef. So I was feeling bad about myself last night, and I just wanted to get that off my chest. I don't have a lot of experience grilling steaks, and there's all these different cuts.
How old are you, Spencer?
I'm 34. I had to think about that for a second.
You're 34.
Yeah,
Don't feel bad about it.
yeah. There's all these different cuts, and there's all the different ways to cook it. Like chicken, it's either cooked or it's not cooked. There is no middle ground with the chicken.
Yeah, there
There
is. There's a way to cook perfect chicken.
Okay,
Yeah, it's called the sous vide.
I don't even know what that means.
But Spencer, there's hope for you. Like
Yeah.
Yes, there
you're
is
right
hope.
at that age where you should be starting to get good at those
Yes,
things.
you're not supposed to be that good right now. It's okay.
And I'm not. And
Yeah.
it came out fine. That was probably mostly due to the marinade. Came out fine, I guess. But like, I guess
What
I
kind of
wouldn't
steak
really.
are you marinating? First of all.
What are you doing? You doing a skirt steak? What are you marinating?
Yeah. Last night was a skirt steak.
Okay,
But-
good. Okay,
but I
that's
don't
okay.
even know-
See, all right, all right.
I
You're
know that
already
JT
on your
was,
way.
but I don't even know if I've even bought it. I probably haven't.
Spencer, in
even bought it in my life.
2015, how old was I in 2015? I was 33. I was
Yeah.
younger than you in 2015, and I
Okay.
moved to California, and I
Right.
You
realized
know what
that
a
if
grill was.
I lived in New York for 15 years, so I realized that if I didn't learn how to cook, I was going to starve because you can't just order anything at any time you want like I
Right.
did in Manhattan. And I didn't know it was exactly where you are, probably worse, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay.
And then I'm the man now. Like I am the man in the kitchen.
Yeah, I was
He's
like,
got moves.
I got moves.
I just need practice. And my wife is, she's so nice. She's like, oh yeah, it's good. I'm like, I don't know if it's good. I have no freaking idea if it's actually
Well,
good.
I got
She-
you, Spencer. I'm gonna help you out, buddy.
All right.
I've been down this road. You're ahead of me. So
Okay.
You're good.
I
Don't
know.
worry.
It's just
You're
so
gonna
many
ruin
different
some-
cuts. I don't
You're
know.
gonna
Like,
ruin some fine proteins in the process, and it's okay. Keep going. Buy yourself some literature. Right. I'm 37 now, so I go to Walmart and I buy books on
I
grilling.
love that he
and
goes
things.
to Walmart.
Yeah, I love Walmart. Big fan. Just started. We just got one. In our neighborhood.
I was like, I think I would pay for a class, and this is like someone to just teach me.
I have fun.
Well, that's
with
what
it.
I did.
Yeah.
My buddy, shout out Danny Boza. I flew him out to California,
Yeah,
and
it's true.
he stayed with me for like 3 days, and he taught me like how to cook.
That's
Yeah.
so
We did.
cool. That's so smart that you did that. So
All right.
smart.
Anyway,
He's a
that's
professional
that,
chef.
that's what was on my mind.
Oxtail.
That was on my mind last night. Is because I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing over here.
I
We're gonna
you're
do a
be
lunch and
okay.
learn, you and me, Spencer.
That's what I
brother.
got.
Okay.
That's
Get
my
yourself
re-
three. Get yourself 3 whole oxtails, and then call me.
Can I go quick? I'm so
Yeah,
freaking
go,
hungry
go,
now.
and
Thanks.
then we go. What's up?
First of all, nobody's eating
Bill, good
cannolis at
call.
7
Bill,
a.m.
good call. Lots of stuff on YouTube. He's right. Yeah, YouTube's great.
Yeah, you're right. You're all
Yeah,
right.
and guess what else you could use? I talk to Aaron about it all the time. Use ChatGPT. Use
Ooh,
ChatGPT.
I haven't done that, but that's
Yeah.
a good call. I learned how to cook
Great.
before the AI existed, so
Yeah.
All right.
Florida and Walmart. Yeah, whatever, dude.
I love
So-
where's JC's cookbook. I've been working on it actually.
You should make one. Listen, I told JC about this yesterday. I don't know how I haven't mentioned it yet. Speaking of my television addiction, the Billy Joel documentary on HBO, I guess it's just Max now, or it's HBO again. They can't figure it out, the branding for this platform, but it's really good. I knew a lot of the stuff about his life as a big Billy Joel fan, but I didn't know his money situation. Like, he got straight up robbed. Just wasn't paying attention
Oh
by
man.
his manager. Yeah, they go into the whole Christy Brinkley marriage. If I had a wife like that, I might be a better husband. I don't know. It's tough. You're not inside. You're not in the house. You don't know what's going on. But just wild life. What a beautiful musician he was, and it's a great story. There's 2 episodes out so far. If you want to binge it. For
All
the
right,
next
I'll have to check it out. I watched the Poop Cruise over the weekend, the thing on Netflix.
What'd you think?
I rarely say this, but I wanted more. Like, it wasn't long enough. I needed more content. It was only like 45. It was like under an hour.
Gross. What
It was
more
under
do
an
you need
hour.
to know?
I could have gone for 2 hours.
So bearish cruises, these Netflix documentaries.
Dude, how about the fact that they delisted the cruise ship ETF right at the lows?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of cruises, that I know for a fact that Jeff Mackey and Herb Greenberg are going to talk about cruises today when they go live at 1:00. So that's right here on the channel, and that's happening with Jeff Mackey and Herb Greenberg. Sean's going live at noon with What Are My Options? So new time for Sean.
I heard
And
whispers about a new show. Did you guys hear about this new show?
I heard some rumblings about
The
a new
open
show.
bar, like
I
a
heard
live trading request show right after the morning show. Who doesn't love an open bar?
Get it?
So.
Because the bars on the charts are open. Get
Bars
it?
always open in my house, baby.
You know, when I was younger, I would like the open bars, but these days I can't be drinking the well.
He's too fancy now.
I can't.
He's
I
straight
am.
booze.
I am. I go to this
you are.
restaurant and they have like half off bottles, right? This Greek
Yeah.
joint by us, and they have like specials, half off bottles. I don't want to drink any of those bottles that are half off. I want
JC's
one
the
that I gotta
kind
pay
of
full
guy.
price for.
He goes to a restaurant. They slip him the happy hour menu. He gives it back.
Well, the food happy hour menu usually has some good bites, so that one is good. It's the
You got to beware of the happy hours. Most of them are straight up scams.
I
know-
got a nice caviar and champagne spot in Midtown, by the way. Next time we're together.
On happy hour?
Yeah.
Some of these places, if you find them, it is a thing. I think it's getting more popular at these trendy restaurants. They'll have half off or 40% off ridiculous caviar specials for happy hour to get people in the door. So find those places and exploit those deals.
Yeah.
Because they're good.
Agreed. Definitely.
All right. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, there is a link in the chat and in the description for a special live event tomorrow with JC Parets and one Herb Greenberg talking about some stock scams and how you can avoid them in the future and how Herb kind of found this one out. So that'll be tomorrow. That'll be at 2:00 Eastern time. It will not be on YouTube. So do not look for it there because it will not be there. It will be on our site, but you got to go to the link in the chat or description to get access.
Oh, what a lovely shout out for my beautiful girlfriend. This must be Michael Martin. Rose is as pretty as Christy Brinkley, and no one could be sweeter. Wow, that's so nice. That must be Michael Martin. What a guy.
Shout out Mike Martin.
All right.
New York Stock Exchange next month. Spencer, you should come.
Hey, what?
We're gonna go party at the exchange.
Hey, what?
Well, you're a Florida man, so I'm talking to the locals here.
I actually have a rule. I'm not leaving for the month of August.
Oh, is that a rule? So you can stay in Florida in August? That
Yeah,
sounds,
good
that sounds
luck with
great.
that.
That's
All
a
Florida,
stupid
all the
fucking
time.
rule. Remember that
It's
thing I
gonna
said
rain
before? How
every day.
Strazza says dumb shit sometimes?
Good luck with that.
JC,
good
you've
luck
been
with
making
that.
fun of me for this for years. This is the way I do it. I tend
right.
to stay in the summer and through storm season, and then during the holidays, that's when I do all the going back. I go back for the snow. I do it in reverse. I don't know. It's
That's
always
terrible.
been that.
All right. Anyway, shout out Novo Nordisk down 20% this morning. Shout out Hims only down 1%. That's what happens when you break up. So we had a lot of earnings today. We didn't talk about any of
We
them.
should have shorted the hell out of this thing.
Didn't talk about any of them.
Turns out.
Spotify down
No
almost 10%. We had SoFi ripping, right?
Wait.
A lot going
Wait,
on.
what's Novo down on? Is that earnings, Spencer?
Yeah, baby.
Oh,
Well,
it's so over for these GLP-1s. It's all the house of cards is starting to crumble here.
I'm still not short, man.
It's a hard short. I'm not going to go out and short a $770 stock either. That's been like one of the top performers this entire cycle. It's just a tough trade to make.
I don't
but
give a
these
shit
stocks are
what's
probably
I
going
don't
lower.
give a shit what's on the y-axis. I don't know what that has anything to do with it.
It matters for me. It's called position sizing. The party is over for these wonder drugs.
Why don't you do something about it? Put your money where your mouth is instead of just
It's just not for me.
smack the
It's just not
companies that
for
you don't
me.
even have. You don't even have a horse in the race. Just sitting here running your mouth.
I short the hell out of these stocks. I'm not going to do it, but the rest of you.
on paper. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Drop us a like. We'll see you tomorrow.
Adios.
Yeah.
I can't take no loss.